Good afternoon plus evening. Our market to fellow Nigerians. This is not about to be a national broadcast. It is mind your character. But as you can see, I'm broadcasting from a totally different venue because of work. I still want to dance in spite of everything. You must know what tickles you. This music does it for me all of the time. Anyway, I'll bring it down so that we can talk and hear ourselves. Welcome everyone. It's Mind Your Character with Bosede Olusola-Obasa. For those joining me on my wall, thank you so much for joining. It's a lot to join any show around this time. When you're supposed to be in the bank, trying to look for new notes, when you're supposed to be in the fuel station or filling station or flow station, trying to get fuel because you are not even assured of electricity supply. When you are supposed to even be somewhere trying to get your PVC, and a lot. I've learned never to judge people. All I've learned to do is to encourage people. It's been a very, very difficult season for every one of us as Nigerians. We never saw this coming, right? So what can we do? Now that we're in this, how can we ensure that we keep our minds sane? How can we ensure that we don't throw caution to the wind? I've seen a number of videos and I'm so sad. I'm so sad that people have been able to be pushed to a point where they have to respond with the ultimate, what is not too healthy character. Seeing people in banking halls coming as close as to naked, both men and women, dramatizing out of anguish, maybe, out of pressure, maybe, out of concerns. So I do not judge you. I just want to beg you. So this morning, I found myself writing a note to my team members on the team WhatsApp group. And I said, please ensure that you don't allow what is happening get to you. Once your life gets into you, you will lose balance. And when the people who created this trouble have been able to resolve it ultimately, you'd have left yourself in a very bad shape. I want to thank everyone who's joining me on Mind Your Character Instagram. I can see Tioluwanimi. Thank you for joining. Thank you. Tabitha D. She's actually doing back-end duties. Thank you. And thank you, Debbie, on the side of my Facebook wall. Mind Your Character is a very, very important show. And that's because it helps us make sense of what is happening in the society. It helps us know how to respond. And if you must react, how to react to issues in ways that helps the society continue to be a healthy one for everyone. These are times when we all need a huge dose of emotional intelligence. I'm as hurt and affected as everybody is. So I'm not speaking as someone who has those Naira notes tacked up somewhere. No. It will shock you that there are some of the denominations, yes, of course, that I only saw last week. Bad as it be, last week. But see, this is a common pain that we all share. It's a common concern that we all hold. But please, try not to lose it to this situation. Try not to lose it. You are much more than the current situation. Your life has more to offer. So when you have the tendency to go to the extreme of your emotions, just I don't want to say calm down. Just take a very deep breath and tell yourself anything positive that you usually will say to yourself every time you need to be fine. I tell you the truth, we will all be fine. I'm taking so much time during this show today to address this issue because I know this is not one issue anybody should come to any live show and not address. I was watching online yesterday and I saw civil society organizations protesting in the front of CBN in Abuja. It has come to that. And then, of course, they have the right to protest. They must have left their jobs to even do that. Must we get to that point? Those are questions begging for answers. But whilst we are trying to get answers to those questions, can we please not lose it? Can we please be considerate? Can we please not eat like EAT one another, chop one another? Can we please not chop one? Because you see, we didn't create the problem. We should not eat one another. We are not the ones we should fight. And we probably should not even be fighting. We should just communicate, put pressure where necessary, and then get results. We can do that being wholesome. We can do that being sane. We can do that being okay. I really wish everyone, Nigerian like myself, a smooth, it's not a smooth sail by any means, but a safe passage through this process, through these seasons that we have come into. If you don't have the new Naira notes yet, please don't be apprehensive to a point where you could get into trouble with it. Don't go to the banking hall and say, oh, so, the woman went almost stark naked and so she was giving money, I'll do the same. No, you deserve much more. Nobody deserves to have you dishonor or disrespect yourself. Yes, may God help Nigeria. A huge percentage of Nigerians need to be calming down. No, doctors, if they come for your head, I will not be there to save you. But really, it's a pain that every one of us shares equally. Is it that I'm hearing that in Enugu currently, fuel is 450 naira per liter in this same Obodo Nigeria that all of us are? Honestly, it's painful, but please, I don't want you to lose you to it. That's going to be the biggest loss for you. Because the government doesn't even know where you live. The CBN governor doesn't even know where you live. Federal government doesn't know where you live. Or probably they don't care to know. If they want to know, they can't. They can. But I'm saying that, please don't lose you to it. Don't lose your mental health to it. Don't get into a fight that will cause death or cause a permanent injury to yourself. Please, the stress on all of us is enough. We don't need an extra. I hope that sufficiently encourages someone. And it's February. You know the best way to love anybody now is just to say, Omo, come here. I get 50 liters of fuel for you for free. Yay! You'll be loving on that person like crazy, Abby. Anyways, that's to say that it has become it has always been essential, but has not been accessible the way we expect it to, and obviously not affordable for a lot of Nigerians. Because it's not as if everybody's employer would immediately raise their money and say, to mitigate this. No, it takes a while for all of those changes to take place. My dear Nigerians, please, let's go through this and not lose much more to it than we are already losing collectively. Let's receive the strength, the inner strength that we need to continue. Thank you, Mrs. Olajumoke Ayedu, for joining me. Thank you. I've also seen Mr. Moses, Samuel Moses. Thank you. And a few other people. Thank you, those who have even popped in and then exited. Thank you so much. So we are in today's show, 12 or 450. Yes, so it's time to go back to lanterns. Please, don't send us to pre-medieval time. The way they'll say it in history. Anyway, it's February. And we're supposed to be talking relationship, trying to listen more to people telling us about love, relationship. I said that this month, I'm not just going to address relationship from the general. I want to look at considerations that all of us should have. And there are a few things I have heard people say, or the way I've seen them respond or react, and I thought I'll just put one or two things straight and I'll be gone. I came late to this show today because of things I cannot even talk about. Anyway, for instance, talking about caring. Caring is a major thing in every relationship. We all agree. And when it comes to caring, sometimes you hear you don't even know how to call somebody and greet. It could be an elderly person, it could be a relation who thinks that you owe them to call and greet. And to my mind, I feel that why that is good, you're elderly, that is good. You expect that you be entitled to such check-ups by those people. I think that the person that loves more always looks out for the other more. I just wanted to bring a balance to this. So if you are a mom, for instance, and your daughter has not called you for days or weeks, and it's not normal for them not to have called, I'm thinking that the consideration that should give us balance is that you should think like, oh, who knows? You should always consider that something might be the reason why they have not been able to call. In your wildest imagination, you have concluded that they have credit. In your wildest imagination, you have concluded that they can make out time if they care. But at the end of the day, you need to be considerate to the point where you understand that it's not always the way you see it from your end. Be considerate and say something like this at times. Oh, and then it even makes more sense to that person when you then eventually call and say, I said I should call and check up on you. I'm surprised you have not called. Is everything okay? Are you fine? Are you this? That is care and that is nurturing a relationship. There is no relationship that survives with just one person sponsoring, nurturing, or beefing it up. It's always more than one side. So being considerate can be a huge way that you can save your relationships this year. The same thing goes for people who say, so I'm going to do all of today's on around calls. There are a lot of issues people throw up around calls that will sometimes bring tension to relationships. So the other one is, I called you and you did not pick. Why do you conclude that the person did not pick? Were you fighting before? That will make them not to pick. So you are either the person, I called you and you did not pick. Rather than you conclude and say and throw the verdict out there that you called them and they did not pick, why don't you say, oh, I called you and it rang out? Or I called you and I noticed you could not pick. You could not pick is different from you did not pick. There is no reason for people not to pick your calls if there have not been an issue. So if you know there has not been an issue, you should make excuses. It's part of being considerate. If you were the one and you could not take somebody's call and then they put it straight to you that you did not pick the call, meaning that you didn't want to pick the call, you decided not to pick the call, you chose not to pick the call. I mean, those are the different interpretations of you did not pick the call. So the next time you ring somebody's line and they could not pick, please don't go ahead and say, I called you and you did not pick. It's so wrong and inconsiderate of you. Because sometimes something life is happening to them why they could not pick. Could not. It's a different thing if someone has become habitual for not taking calls. I understand that. But I'm saying that some people have just taken the habit of throwing those words around and saying, you did not pick my call. Being considerate is a good character trait that will help your relationship be strong. It does not have to always be a platonic relationship. It could be parents to children relationship. It could be boss to subordinates. It could be community. It could be church. It could be anything and anyone. Being considerate means that you think straight and look at all the sides and you don't put a judgmental conclusion to anything until you've been able to find out why they could not. The word could not and did not, they are yet to be the same. I'm not sure they'll ever be the same. So saying could not means that you are giving them a chance to put the record straight. You are not being judgmental. What are the other things that I know that go with this call thing? Because the whole of this month, I'll be looking at character traits that can help you strengthen your relationship. So while people are taking relationship talk from different angles this month of February and talking about love, honestly, consideration is one of the hallmarks of love. Toluwanimi says, does being considerate mean putting a person's interest or feelings before yours? Well, to an extent, because there's this thing about you loving your neighbor as yourself. So it depends on the context in which a situation is happening. There are some questions that may never be answered on a yes or no basis because the situations will differ. But yes, if I was going to just answer it straight up, I could say, oh yes, you should consider other people before you. But it's not in the sense that you are depressing yourself to impress somebody. Do you see now that there can be a slight difference and there can be the need for you to be able to tell where the lines separate and where they are no longer just one single thing. So that's the way I will answer that question. And then Doka says every relationship should be two-sided. I don't know. Oh, okay. I guess I understand that every part of the relationship, it's not managed by just one person. No single person funds it. No single person. If you are more than one in a relationship, of course, that's what makes it a relationship and not a situationship. I heard that one recently. I didn't know there were situationships. Anyway, so this is looking at relationship generally, and I'm just going to leave it at that today. I have spoken about being considerate. Please don't forget. Do you know that if you're considerate, even the relationship between the fuel attendants at our flow stations and the motorists that are coming to buy would have made this stress a lot easier on all of us. So instead of you to be considerate and be straightforward, you have new notes. You are selling new notes to motorists who come to buy fuel and at a rate that shows that they are buying naira, practically. And they come to you to buy fuel from you. Being considerate can solve plenty of the problems that we all are facing currently in Nigeria. Can you choose to be considerate? In every relationship where you find yourself this year and all of your life, being considerate is something you should learn. Never say, I called you, you did not pick. And then seldom say, you are supposed to be the one to call me. And so since you are not calling me, there is no basis for conversation. Sometimes you check up on people because you may never know what life is dealing on them at that time. It will not matter anymore whether they are younger, subordinate, or anything. It would only be important for them to know that you looked out for them. I want to thank Mr. Olabode Toye also for joining. So yes, all of our relationships this year deserve to be vibrant, deserve to be strong, deserve to do well. And one major quality that everyone in any form of relationship should take care of is being considerate. So when Madam cooks that soup and it's slightly too salty, don't go, and they're like, they're trying to what's it? And then you just say, you can go with it. Be considerate because you should understand that she was only trying to impress and then she over-impressed or she under-impressed. So being considerate helps you see things from other people's point of view. It helps you think outside the box. Does being inconsiderate mean selfish? Of course. When you are inconsiderate, you're self-centered. I might not use the word selfish, but I'll call it self-centered. That means in your head, the only thing you think is right, the only way you think something could be is the way you're thinking about it. That's being self-centered. And it's also being narrow-minded. So when you're considerate, you're putting other people in the picture of the decisions you're taking or the actions that you are taking. Thank you, Modinat, for joining. I welcome you. So it's so important to be considerate. Be considerate, Nigerians. Be considerate. brothers and sisters, please be considerate. It's so important. I use calls, issues of calls as example today. I talked about a mother can call the daughter. There is no template that says that it is the daughter that must always call the mother, because you don't know what your daughter is going through. If you carry that mind and you never come down your high horse to say, I notice I've not heard from you. Are you fine? And I give my mom kudos for that a lot. She will always do that. I said I should check up because I haven't heard from you in a long time. That shows that, nobody needs to tell me about how much she loves. She will do that without feeling that èmi kọ́ ló yẹ kí n máa pè ẹ́, ìwọ ló yẹ kó máa pè mí, ó dẹ̀ yẹ kó máa pè mí lójoojúmọ́. There are so many aunties and uncles who just sit down and they carry the title. Why don't you check what is happening to that person at that time? When you check, that's the only time you have the moral strength to say, oh, I decided to check up on you when I saw you couldn't. Don't say you didn't. Always give people a chance to say how it is at their end. You never know the full picture. And if you don't care enough, they will not even explain the full picture to you. Nobody wants to tell people who don't care about them what they care about. So it's important to be considerate. I only hope that I've been able to push some lessons. They are not your usual kind of talk, right? Because you're like, hey, this person is preaching character. And he's saying that the mother should be calling. I mean every single word. There are moments in life when people had wished they called before things went bad. So I'm saying that learn it. Have a balance. Yes, children should call their parents. Yes, but you see, ask after everyone that you claim to love, people who you say are important to you. I have a question on Facebook. You say, what can one do if someone always expects you to be the one to reach out first? Should one stop reaching out to the person or reduce it? Let me see who's asking this question. Okay, so that's my... Okay. This looks like... It is jumping, sorry. I need to be sure who I'm talking to. Oh, Debbie. Back end, you're asking question. Okay, I only thought that the question may have been answered somehow during the show. You need to know people in your life who believe that they are the ones who must be called. They cannot and must not call anybody. If you know them, if they are very, very sensitive relationships where you know that you can't do anything about. If your father or your mother decides not to be this kind of person that has balance, there's nothing you can do. You have to keep up with them because you can't change a father. You can't change a mother. Even though I once wrote a story about people who hire father and mother when they want to get married, it's not the same. We all know that. So you can't change your parents. So if they happen to have been that social, that traditional person, that traditionally minded people from starting out, you are not the one to change them. You cannot come and be the one to train your parents in the way that they should go, so that when they grow up, they will not depart. No, they have grown up. So since they have grown up, all you can do is manage that relationship. The same way you're supposed to manage a boss that might be toxic, it's the same way. Some parents may be toxic. They have not learned the things that help them be that pacifier, that strength in the life of their children. Many of them grew up believing that once I raise this child to a point, the next thing is this child should begin to feed me back on everything that concerns. Okay, so I had a little break on Facebook, but it's back. So if you have such parents, don't go around expecting them to do the sort of thing I'm saying now. You see, the thing I do on Mind Your Character, Adesomi Tolulope, welcome. I can see you on Mind Your Character. Thank you for waving. So should I wave him back? I did. Okay, so the point I'm making is, don't say, oh, Mrs. Obasa has said it. You should call me. Well, we are putting the complete thing out there so that those who still feel like they can grow. Some parents cannot grow anymore. They have grown. Yes. They're already concretized. They are formed. Many parents don't believe anything growth can happen to them anymore, not even in their minds. So if you have such parents, I'm using parents for example now because of the question, but you have to learn how to manage those kind of parents. You don't have to insist that if were you too, if you see that I didn't call you, call me. They might take a big offense at that. They could shina bole for you. So please know what you have, know who you're dealing with, and know exactly how you can manage it. If they are parents, if they are friends, if they are relations, if they are elder, aunts and uncles, it's a traditional system that we have in Africa. So you have so many people who expect you to reach out, who expect you to stay in contact. They don't even know what's happening to you. The one that used to hurt me is the fact that they didn't even find out if you're fine, because they are inconsiderate. A considerate person will look at the whole sides to an issue. He will go 360 degrees. But an inconsiderate person might not even know that he or she is inconsiderate. Most of the time, they think they're just following a rule or trying to stick to a particular pattern. You cannot blame them. That's the much that they know or understand. But for you, you are the one who should look around you and say, okay, this is who this person is. There are relationships that you manage, like manage, if you know what I mean. Manage. I will not say more than that. There are relationships like that. You know that God, these people are already in my life. Just help my soul. Just going to teach me. So if you meet people like that, they may not be considerate, and you may not be able to make them to be. You are the one who now needs to know how to use emotional intelligence to relate with them and to still have a life that you can be happy about and people around you are happy. I'm really wishing that we have more considerate people in the world. The world needs you to be considerate. People are hurting. So you can't be the extra reason why somebody is extra hot. It's not the best. Anyway, our elections are close by. I did plenty of election talk last month. This month, I'm talking about character traits that can help your relationships. And I'm shocking you by making sure that I'm not just talking about the girl that wants to marry the boy. No. Every single kind of relationship in our lives deserves to be managed and given a better life. So as I begin to bring this to a wind, I want to thank everyone who joined me live. And I want to celebrate you who is going to see this just after today or now. February is a time where people remind themselves of the need for love and everything. But there are more people in our lives that we love and care about and should consider than just a spouse, a partner, and the rest of them. So we want to go on to ensure that we touch every one of those relationships. All of us should be growth-minded. Nobody should get to a point where they say, I have grown, nobody can teach me anything. When you have people like that in your life, you are in for good. You are in for a good time. Is there a way of letting a parent know that you also want to be reached out to? I said it, that it depends on the parent you are relating with. It depends on the kind of parent. So the hallmark of this all is you should also be emotionally intelligent, study people in your life, know what they consider an insult. The thing that another parent sees as, oh, thank you, I never knew you have been this, and as in life has dealt this much blow on you. I'm sorry, rather than calling, I was waiting for you to come. Some people will do that because they are growth-minded. People who are not growth-minded and absolutely inconsiderate will go, when did that one start for you? Is it because you went? And then they will do all the is it because? So know who you want to talk to. If you have a parent who will not listen, and if the issue is important that you speak, you might have to get a way to help them hear it. It might not be even you that is saying it. It might be another creative way. Or maybe people say that moments when they are very happy, and you are sure that they are very happy. Get them to know. But definitely everybody needs to be reached out to. I'd like to say my goodbyes now. No, Tolu and me is not passing any back door. You have come. She should pass front door. Stop parking back door. It's you that I know that is pass back door. I hope you are. This is Happy New Year, Tolu. I hope you have changed. Okay. Tolu and me knows that she gets reached out to regularly. I still spoke with her. And either of us can call, whether daddy, whether mommy. But but maybe she's asking for someone. You know the way they say, I'm asking for somebody in my... Okay, so thank you so much, everyone. You helped to make the show interesting. Thank you, everyone who joined on Facebook. Thank you, everyone who joined on Instagram. It's not my usual location from where I broadcast this, but I'm glad I was able to do it. I have a job out of station, and I just had to do this quickly. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I have a quote to end this. It says, never forget the people who take time out. I'm sorry, I have to take this again. Never forget the people who take time out of their day to check up on you. It's an unknown author, that's anonymous, but I absolutely love that quote. Never forget the people who take time out of their day to check up on you. Never forget them. Appreciate them. Because there are people who never check up on anybody. They will never. And then you don't have to talk to someone to think about them and check up on them now and again. We all should try to check up. Then it says parents are the ultimate role models to their children. If you want them to learn how to check up on their children, you check up on them and they will learn that it's not a taboo for you to be the one checking up. Okay? So we can make life a bit softer for everyone. Everyone is going through hard times, and I pray that these hard times will not last for too long. We have Game of Working coming up. It's going to be next month, March 25th, and it's going to be very good. It's 50,000 naira, simple, as in shaking money, you understand now. Whether naira, new note or no new note, just do transfer. You don't have to stress yourself. We will not tell you to go and bring new notes. Just do transfer and you'll be fine. And then send us an evidence of payment. And of course, click the link on any of the platforms where you're seeing the advert and register. And of course, our number will reach out to you. We want to thank everyone who came for, what's that? Character Ambassadors Forum. It was interesting. Thank you, every single person that came. It was good to see you all. And it was our new year kind of. And we want to celebrate the team in-house that put it together. Thank you, everybody. We enjoyed ourselves. Even though this Naira matter wanted to spoil the fun. But God no go shame us. God no agree. You can follow us on all of our social media platforms. We have Mind Your Character on Instagram. I'm sure a few people are watching there right now. We have Mind Your Character Facebook, and this is always on Mind Your Character. No, Bosede Olusola-Obasa. And then we have Mind Your Character YouTube. You can always catch up with any of our videos or all of our videos there. Whether training or speaking engagement or even shows like this. And guess what? I just started a 1 minute or max 2 minutes video that teaches something that you need every day. Pop! It just started, and the one that you have out there right now is on being humane. Today I talk about being considerate, and I've shown you how being considerate can make you stoop down to bring others up. There are people you have to bend to where they are to bring them up. If you stay up there, you can never be of blessing to them. And you will regret when you see that their lives have gone down the drain. You will say, oh, I wish I knew. I would have been there. I would have caught before that one happened. Let consideration set in for you. Go out of your way to call the people you think they don't deserve me calling them. Well, you might be saving a life. And those of you who say, I called you, you did not pick, say, I noticed you could not take the call. Or the call rang out. Don't say you did not, because you can't not be in your house and know what's happening to that person, why the call was missed. Especially if it's not habitual. If it's habitual, then that person has a reputation for it. And you very well deserve. Mr. Benga, thank you for joining. Thank you so much for joining. All right, who haven't I acknowledged? So far, I've acknowledged every single person who has joined me on Good Vibes. Yeah! Which one be? Empowerment Women. More. Mr. Benga, empower women. Okay. Let's talk about women in March now. We're talking about relationships now. Mr. Benga, do you call your children? when they are in school, or you'll be waiting for them to call you. Oh, I mean, those people, they feel so entitled. Jesus. I need to go. Thank you. You want to reach us for any inquiries, please call 081 02 081 061 2019. 081 061 2019. It's time to run now. Please don't dress half naked to protest Naira note. Please. Please. Your entire generation deserves more. Please. Your children deserves more. Don't do anything silly. It's already painful. Don't add salt to your injury. You are hurting already. We are all hurting. Whether it is fuel or whether it is not so. And I know that this is Nigeria. It shall soon pass. We will be fine. So in the meantime, please just hold your breath and do the breathing and breathe out when it gets really heavy on you. I know what it feels like. We are all inside of it. But please, don't go do all those shows anywhere. Nobody deserves to have you demean yourself. No, that's giving them too much. Thank you so much. I love you. You know I'm committed to adding value to you. It's been Mind Your Character with Bosede Olusola-Obasa. I'll see you next Friday when I'll talk about another relationship item. Don't forget what I said to you. Be considerate. All those people you never call because they are too small, go and call them. Even the small people deserve to be called. Thank you. Enjoy my music. As I dey waka comot for the studio. Mr. Gabriel, you are just joining. Well, welcome, and goodbye. All right, thank you, everybody. God bless you. By the time I see you on Friday next week, Naira matter go don resolve in Jesus' name. Even fuel we pray, it go don resolve. Bye for now. Your hand should. The camera.